Well, I've started another build. This is a guitar from PitBull Guitars yet again, and it's an ES5V, which is based on a 1941 model Gibson ES125, I believe. So what I'm going to try and do is this sunburst finish that you can see here in original photos of Gibson 125s. Not that I'm allowed to call it a Gibson 125, it won't be, it's just merely a copy. But we're in the sanding stage now, so we shall press on. Well, I've just had a little experiment with doing a sunburst. This is on a piece of scrap ply that I just got from Bunnings yesterday. And we'll have a look. I'll do it in, I've got pretty harsh light here, but that's just one coat of 3 colours, black, teak and the cedar, which I think is going to turn out quite nice. And I didn't actually sand this board. You can see that's quite white, but it's very similar to the base of the body of the guitar. So I think that's going to be quite successful to get what I'm after. Beauty! Okay, in the middle of masking this up, I'm going to put the black colour on each of the sides. So we've masked that up there. This is a sort of fairly involved process, and we'll see what that first coat turns out like. Okay, we've got the final bit of the masking done. This is just for the sides. I'll just demonstrate here. We've got it masked back and front so that I can safely stain the sides. It's going to be black, and I don't want to get my great big huge pores on any other surface than it needs to be. Okay, we've got the rubber gloves on. A little bit of Feast Watson black into a suitable container. This is only the side, so I'm not too concerned if the sunburst effect will come when we go to do the front. I've got a little pad we'll dip in, and hopefully starting at the front we shall go. Just smoothing it all out to get as even a coat as I can first coat. This stuff does tend to sink in quite a lot, and I'm very careful of the edges as well. I'm sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. I think I'll move that up slightly. Very hard to make a video and to demonstrate what's happening here. I'm trying to do all this and then focus on the video at the same time, but anyway. Because this is black, it's obviously going to take a number of coats to get that depth that I'll be looking for. And the reason I'm doing the black is because I want to have the sunburst almost as authentic as Gibson did it in 1941. I have a couple of reference pictures which I'm trying to follow as much as possible to get the general idea. Okay, that's one very quick coat, and I'll turn the video off and I'll come back to it in just a few minutes. And this is going to take a few coats to the black. It probably doesn't show on the video, but I can still see, well, which is what's intended, the grain coming through, but it's sort of turning a little bit brown in some little areas here. Well, I suppose once we get a bit of a polish on it, that will look nice. I'm just trying to make sure that I get a nice even coat of black on here without actually corrupting the binding that's behind, which is a pure white sort of a binding. I hope that's showing on the, probably looks blacker on the video than it does where I'm standing. Yeah, we'll let that dry for a few minutes and then we'll have another reappraisal. Okay, I've masked up the neck. Now this is obviously going to be black as well because the whole guitar is basically black, although on the picture here it's shown a light brown, but mine is going to be black all the way around, or a blackish colour. And in the background we can see over there is what I'm going to try to achieve on this guitar. So we shall see. Well, I've put a coat of black on, as we have seen before, but this is some pretty fancy masking now to compensate for the binding that goes around here. And on a previous guitar that I made, I actually stained across that, and I didn't like the final effect. It wasn't as good as I expected. So now I've masked that because I'm going to do that sunburst, which is that effect over there on the board behind. I really need to make sure that these edges are very, very sharp. So hopefully they will be. Okay, well, we've put a coat of black on the back of the machine. I'll put another one on and then I'm going to start on the sunburst colour. Okay, trusty pad. This has given it a nice deep coat. It will polish up really nice, I think. Well, I'll start to take the tape off and just see how that edge went on there. Not too bad. It require a little bit of cleaning up on the back, but quite happy with that. Stain dries pretty quick, so that's good. Beautiful. Okay. Now for the sunburst colour, what I'm going to do is put the amber all over here, and then we come back with contrasting colours to get the effect. So let's see what happens. First of all, nice in here in the middle, bit of an oval. Well, that's a beautiful colour. Love this teak. Now I'll turn the video off because this will just give you an idea, and I'll come back to it in a few minutes. Now I want a 3 sort of colour burst on this, so I'm going to very carefully dab that down, and we start with, oh, you mongrel, look at that. It drips. Not what I was after. Now I have to thin this out with a little bit of meths. Okay, that's the second coat. I sort of jumped the gun without the video being on, but we get the idea now. I've just put a coat of black over the teak and the cedar. Now I need to get a cleaner cloth and just give that a buff off a bit to try and lighten it up here. There it is. Yeah, getting there. we're just going to fine tune this a little bit because it's trying to get the colours evenly distributed around the edges, the black, and I'm standing in my light. And I'll come back here with a little bit of teak just to rub that back out. Get that feathering effect. Not too bad. I think we might leave that just like that for a while. Not too bad, don't think. Anyway, we'll see how that dries. Right, well, I've had a bit of a clean up, and obviously there's no shine on this yet, but it's got the effect that I'm after, which is very much similar to the original ones of, I believe, 1946 or so. Yeah, very happy with this at the moment, so still a fair bit to go, but we shall press on. Right, I've just started to put some clear lacquer coats on this. This is going to be a fairly long, drawn out process, but we get the idea of the colour now. And I'll have to rub it down with wet and dry and a few more coats of the lacquer and rubbing and etc, etc, till we get a nice mirror gloss finish. Because the whole back of the guitar is black. Yeah, I guess it's black. It's not showing up very well here on the video as far as I can see. I'm into the light anyway. We get the idea. Well, I put the first coat of clear gloss on it, but I decided that I didn't really like it because it just didn't seem to have that smooth consistency. So I've actually rubbed this back with very fine wet and dry paper, and I'll do virtually the whole guitar again and mask it up and put a little bit more stain on it, and we'll try again. I think this is a sort of a plywoody type facing instead of the veneer that was on the other guitar, and the grain is a lot more pronounced on this one, as far as it's very ridgy, let's say. It's got highs and lows in it. So I'll push on and we'll get there eventually. The front of the guitar is I'm really happy with it, but it's that smoothness of that finish. But I don't really know that I want to rub this back, because it's fairly involved, and I might end up ruining it. So what I might do with this one is put another couple of coats of clear on it and rub them down in between, and then I'll get the old car polish out and give it a damn good buff up and see what happens. It might fill the grain bits in. Anyway, we'll carry on. Right, starting to put some clear coats over the top. This is the first coat, so we'll let it dry. It's coming up a little bit better than I anticipated yesterday. Good. Well, I put the odd coat of clear finish on, and now we do some wet and dry sanding, like a lot of it, to try and get that glossy, glassy finish. I mean, there'll have to be more coats of clear go onto this. It's not a very good day today to be doing it, because it's quite cool outside. The sun was out earlier, but that's changed. So it's just rubbing to try and smooth out the high bumps, and a damp microfiber cloth just to wipe off the excess that don't get it onto the uncoated timber, and we just keep going until we get it down to roughly where we think we ought to be. And the same on here. I have just a container with some water in it. I just dip the thing in a little bit, give it a bit of a shake, and then back over. And just eyeing up where the light comes, just semicircular or circular motions, trying not to take any colour. Well, there shouldn't be any colour come off anyway, because this has had about 2 or 3 coats of clear finish now. And that's what we do. We just keep going till I'm satisfied that I've ironed out the bumps, and then we put more on and go through the same process. Right, well, now we've made some progress. I've put what I assume now, or hope, is the final coat of gloss on this, and we can see that it's got a very nice shine. We can also see a little bit of a purple shine coming through. This is, of course, is what they use with the black stain, and it's very nice. It's actually got quite a purpley tinge to it, so I'm quite pleased with that. And we're getting a decent shine off the sunburst. So yeah, this is going to turn out fine, I think, once it dries and we polish it. And well, we've made some further progress. We've actually attached the neck, put the electrics in, and I'm in the process now of I'm going to put the tailpiece on. I've installed, or roughly installed, the Grover tuners, which are extra. I bought them instead of the standard tuners that come with these guitar kits, and they're locking ones. And the next thing is going to be to fit the tailpiece, so I'll sort of set up and then we'll go through that. The first thing we've done is to try and get the centre line of the guitar, and so we wrap a little bit of string on a loop through here and round through the centre of the neck. This is lined up pretty good with the dots. We're assuming that this is square. I had squared this up before I attached the neck, and I'll just if I can find my little rule, we get that centre line. I've got a pencil here and I'm just going to mark basically the centre line of the guitar by lining it up, and I got this little trick from a fellow on the internet. Yep, that to me looks pretty central, and I can see that. And if I check it along here, it is pretty central to the pickup. Now the pickup's not fixed yet, but just where it's sitting there looks pretty good to me. And we'll get back to that a bit later. But now I have a centre line. Okay, we've now marked the hole, the first hole, which is on the centre line, and we're going to drill that one, and then we will attach the first screw to the bracket that holds the trapeze. Okay, we've done the first hole and we've screwed that piece. Now we'll do some more lining up. Now I've tentatively lined this up with string. We'll just go a little bit here, get round behind. Don't know about this trapeze. It's there's no fixing points to it, and it seems to float a bit. I've used that piece of timber there to simulate a bridge, which is where it'll be, but I'm just trying to line everything up before we attach those last two screws in there, which will then mean we're committed. Well, now I've put the bridge piece in temporarily. This is to give me some clearance and to check the lining up of everything here, and it appears to be lined up, so I should be able to now go ahead and put the last two screws in at least that rear end. Well, we've got it assembled, and it actually works. Now we plug in somewhere here